But I need that time and I see your point.
What is up, my Aries gang? It is your girl Kia Amore here with a reading. Most of you are going to be new because this channel is new. If you are not an Aries sun, but you do have Aries in your chart, you are also welcome here, as well as my cross watchers. Just be sure that you place yourself in the story as you see fit. Now we're going to hurry up and jump into this. I will say I'm apologizing now because I am a little stuffy, but it's not going to stop me, of course, from getting this read. So again, take what resonates, leave what does not for whoever the hell it does belong to. I also do curse here and I say things with a lot of emotion and a little attitude. So if you are not a person who is ready for that, no problem, you know, no judgment zone here. You are more than welcome to exit stage left. Now, jumping into this, we immediately have adventure, which came out in the reverse, but I'm definitely not one to dive too hard into reversals. We're gonna go ahead and allow the energy to flow. What else is it that we need? Cards flying on the floor. We're not picking those up. Shit. This was at the bottom of the deck and decided to come out too as leading energy. Hope. Okay, what else is it that my Aries? Thank you, immediately. Okay, so here's where we're at with things, Aries. I know that whoever is aligning with this is at a stage in life where they've made some amazing accomplishments. You have been able to provide a lifestyle and level of life that may seem very unrealistic to other people. And I think that you work damn hard to be in the position and situation that you are currently in, you know, coming from where you're coming from. And so many of you have this understanding that you have put so much, you know, effort into maintaining or building a lifestyle where, you know, you are finally comfortable. It doesn't mean that there isn't room for more. So I will say adventure is you needing to take more interest in the opportunities that are being presented to you. I feel like so many of you overload yourself now with work, and so many of you are just looking to, you know what I'm saying, dive in a couple different bags and keep the account heavy. But it's kind of like, what time are you really dedicating to you? We do have hope coming through in the sense of emotion and hoping that, you know, a situation was either different or has the ability to change. Some of you are going through legal matters, and I feel like a lot of you are getting ready to experience a semi-long road of just having to prove your point to other people in order to have something, you know, be looked to work in your favor. I will say that the miscommunication between a relationship here could have definitely gone a couple of different ways. I feel like if there's been a separation between you and someone for years now, it's been like, you don't understand me and I don't understand you, and though I wish we could, the shit just doesn't make sense, you know. But either way, we have to figure this shit out because many of you do have kids involved. But I also feel like just even on an independent level, this is you just wanting to be sure that you're not missing anything, that you have a better understanding as to how things work. And then we have embrace change. So regardless if you're ready or not, something major is getting ready to shift for you. I think you're going to have to adapt to something very drastically, and I think that your life in general is just getting ready to change. So many of you have this very dominance about you where you do look to be in control of a lot, and you have to ease up off of the control. We do have not enough coming through. That also flipped in the reverse, but in general speaking, you know, we also have dates, and then we also have addiction. So I do feel like whoever you were dealing with in the past was very dependent, and I think, sorry, my camera died, but as I was saying, I think many of you have found yourself to entertain the same type of energy, let alone just character. So that is changing for you. If you've recently broken up with someone here, I do feel that, you know, it was difficult. And I know a lot of you don't like necessarily, you know, showing or allowing anyone to see this level of emotion that you carry. But I think it's important that people know that you actually do have this level of sensitivity, because working as hard as you work and allowing your mental to lengthen itself as often as it does to have someone in your space who isn't willing to work through the process with you is very difficult. Going through a breakup is definitely not easy for Aries. I think that Aries find it hard to, again, trust and attach themselves anyway. And you guys have just been in this space of wanting to be sure that you are taking the necessary steps before, you know, going that deep with the person. Again, you know what I mean? Right now, you are in your Six of Pentacles energy. Okay, this is someone definitely taking on a new opportunity. This is someone changing careers. This is someone leveling up within a business or a career that they're already in. So possible promotion here. This is you being in leadership, some type of role where you are in position to obtain more and receive more. Okay, Aries, you have to be ready for this change. What else is it that my Aries needs to know in regard to receiving at this time? What else is it that my Aries need? Thank you. So Four of Cups energy is not allowing yourself to be so distracted by the things that are irritating as fuck. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like many of you have not, if not recently, have just been going through a plethora of things that are just irritating as hell. And it's kind of like you've been allowing this one thing to be such a distraction. It's hindering you from being able to have the energy to move forward in other directions. So I will say, you are being presented with something that you may not want, right? Like having to do something alone, being independent, or having to deal with a relationship or a partnership that isn't necessarily working. But at the end of the day, you need to focus on a better outcome. So many of you are focusing on one thing instead of realizing how many options you actually have available to you and how many directions you're actually able to, of course, commit to. Now, it's been a very rocky road for many of you, Aries. I feel like many of you have gone out of this, or recently, you know, come out of this space of depression. We do have Five of Cups energy coming through, as well as the Three of Pentacles. So many of you have gone through this timeline of getting out of a, you know, state of depression, finally figuring out what it is that you need in order to make you happy, getting over a breakup or some type of connection, and finally realizing how to obtain your power again. Now, the Three of Pentacles is solely based on something being delayed. Now, I think if you're going through a very chaotic time, you're going through this very chaotic, lonely time, so that way you can understand yourself better. It's the time for you to become more acquainted with who you are, not allowing people to walk across you, and also not allowing people to have so much control over your emotions. We don't want to be the mean girl. We don't want to be the mean guy. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, expressing yourself in a light where it doesn't come off so aggressive is also important. I think a lot of people will realize that you have been more than kind, right? And so with that being said, you elevate, Aries. You elevate to, again, obtain improvements in money. This is about stability for you. Clearly, this entire reading has everything to do with you making a broader establishment for yourself. This is you testing yourself and pushing yourself to new limits and new heights. This is you finally taking a risk in doing something, whether that's moving to a new city, relocating, or again, just taking on, you know, a challenge by yourself without the help of others. Now, partnership is something that may be ending for many of you, but in many cases, it's also something that is getting ready to begin. I feel like so many of you finally connect with people that you actually enjoy, because let's be honest, Aries, it's definitely hard for you to enjoy certain, you know, personalities, and you're an acquired taste yourself. The entrepreneur in you is getting ready to experience a lifestyle that you have waited on for some time now, and many of you just need to embrace this. I think fixing family issues is important here. I see many of you getting ready to have conversations with someone that you haven't spoken to in years. We have player showing that playing hard to get fires back. There's someone who's looking to come in with some type of apology on an intimate level. I feel like there's someone who, you know, did wrong. There was an engagement here. There was some type of wedding. Maybe some of you are going to a wedding or participating a part of the wedding party. I tried playing it tough, but you get to me. So let's talk about this real quick. You have gone back and forth with people over and over and over again by choice. Because let's be honest, Aries, there's a situation here that ended a long time ago. There's a situation here that was very toxic. And somehow, some way, you still found that you had some sense of love for this person. The level in which this person is moving on is very rapid, right? I think this person has also been trying to figure out, you know, what's next for them. And some of them even jumping into relationships that they're looking to be committed to. But you both still share a level of commitment that deserves some type of attention. And that attention needs to lead with respect. I feel like many of you have found that you can say something to someone and immediately they're on the defense, you know, when it comes to your opinion or just your gesture, okay? There's someone who always feels like you are definitely aggressive and, you know, also cannot communicate. But I do feel this being a change in demeanor for someone, a change in attitude. There's some sense of letting go and being okay with it. This shit is like very awkward, Aries, but I will say you make it through a storm is what I'm hearing. You have a lot of amazing things to encounter. Some of you in new relationships will also find that this relationship is very new. It's something that I think you weren't really expecting, but it's something fun and it's something adventurous, which is something that you truly need. I think while a lot of you are in your bag and in your mogul space, building and you know, having fun with life, you also need to be interacting with someone who is very resilient. Simple. When you are a person who heals, you need to be sure that you are connecting with someone who protects. But I do feel like you run into your match here. So many of you have, you know, connected with a person. And I think if you're in a relationship already, you just find that you guys start to connect in ways you didn't really, you know, try before. This person who is resilient is also someone who gets on your damn nerves, but you find some type of strength through this person. This is someone who just feeds you such positive energy, someone who's willing to, of course, allow you to have the spotlight. This is someone who's looking to not dim your light, but provide it in any way that they can. This is someone who acknowledges that it is your time to shine. So at the end of the day, Aries, you win by being completely authentic and available to yourself first, but catching someone's attention randomly, you become, you just become more available in this spiritual space. I feel like there was a connection that was undeniable, you know, with someone here. And, you know, I think it showed for some time, but when it ended, and it didn't have to necessarily end ugly, but you're going through the backlash of the things that were never said and the things that were never healed. And so in order for you to truly prosper in this space of being one with self and allowing yourself to actually, you know what I'm saying, live a life of peace, you need to be sure that you are asking yourself this very question: am I completely ready to move on? Either way, there is a separation and disconnect, and people are moving in their separate zones. You need to be comfortable with doing things at your own pace. There's no competition where I'm hearing it like there's no one to compare yourself to right now. Don't worry about what they got going on. They won't worry about you kind of energy. You have some amazing things that are getting ready to happen, Aries, and I am excited for you all to, you know, just continue living, create, get in your creative bag. So many of you have started things that you haven't really given, you know, enough time and effort to, and that one thing that you have put off could be the one thing that changes your life forever. So I will say, lay up off of the battling and the frustrations and the going back and forth, and start taking into consideration what it is that you need in order to be at peace with self. I encourage all of you, of course, to just stay as humble as you can be, and just work through the process and have fun. This time is about you being able to, again, add more fuel to your fire. that's not always a bad thing, to be fiery, to be, you know what I'm saying, a go-getter. I think the one thing that I will say is, Aries, you guys are definitely go-getters, and you guys have this strength about you that can be very dominating. So be mindful of who you're interacting with, who you keep in your corner. Business looks really, really good for many of you. And I will say, beyond that, you just find a balance in being able to have this personal connection versus business connection in many aspects. It becomes, you know, a boundary that's set naturally. So I will say, I love you all. That is all that I have for Aries today. I plan to dive deeper, getting to know you more often, or just getting more acquainted with my Aries is a better way to, of course, say that. You guys are tricky, and you guys are very all over the place, no different than any other sign. But it gets kind of wild on the Aries side of life. So be mindful of the energy and the people that you keep in your corner. Be mindful of the messiness and the pettiness and the cattiness and the people who only want to be involved in your life because they want to know about your business. Other than that, you guys have amazing things happening, and I'm going to leave it there. Be sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, click the bell above, so that way you guys can become a part of the family. And I will see you guys in my next read. We out.